Christy McDonald. I'm so glad that you are with us. And joining me now at the desk is Rick DeVore. He is the new CEO of the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan. Of course, the former regional president for PNC. It's great to see you, Rick, and congratulations on the new job.
No, it's been fun. It's really fascinating, and just the things that we're involved with, so I'm excited about it.
You know, explain for people, I mean, Miriam Noland retired, and she set a magnificent precedent for what the Community Foundation is capable for. In talking to her and in the outgoing and the change of position, what do you see as the biggest strength of the Community Foundation?
I think her legacy is really the biggest strength, which is helping not-for-profits build their endowments. I mean, when you think about giving, the holy grail really is having an endowment that covers a good portion of your overhead. And we have 230 different organizations that we manage their endowments for. That's just one of the many things we do. But that really is the backbone of what I think her legacy is. What really fascinates me a lot is just the strength and talent of the people I work with. And it does remind me they're there because they believe in the work. A lot of these people could probably make a lot more money, in business or somewhere, but they're there because of the mission, which is quite stimulating, quite frankly.
You know, you've been around in Southeast Michigan for such a long time and been with organizations, been up here at the Mackinac Policy Conference and with your work with PNC. I would love for you to kind of step back and give us a sense of what your assessment of where Southeast Michigan and maybe the state is as a whole right now in some of the biggest issues that we have to tackle together in moving forward and making our region and making our state the most competitive that it can be.
I think obviously, civility is on everybody's mind because it's an upcoming midterm election.
Right.
I think we're all seeing that play out in social media and things like that. But for me, I'm still disappointed in that we still can't seem to get the point across on education. If you look, there's a group of people that wants to fund even less for higher ed. Higher ed is after prisons on the totem pole, right?
I was just going to say higher ed got slashed in 2007 and never recovered.
And then when you look at pre-K through 12, we still have an inequitable system. But the scary part for me is that the general populace thinks things are okay. My district's okay, that's somewhere else. But I'm here to tell you, I think in the rural districts, suburban and urban, this is not an urban issue. I think this is playing out, and then we have such a shortage of teachers. If you go up to the UP and you hear these stories of third and fourth graders have still not had a regular teacher. They've had substitutes for 4 years after the 1 hour bus ride on the bus but this lack of awareness is kind of, we talk about the roads all the time, but what about, the education? So to me, I think we need to tackle that. I think there's a lot of people that are seeing that. I've read clip this morning that John Rakolta Jr. was talking about it. God bless him. I mean, he's been beating the drum.
I did see that. He's definitely, making some noise.
And I think Launch Michigan, what Jeff Donofrio, what he was trying to do at BLM, I think he has some people that are in the conversation, but we need, I think, an education of the voters. They just don't understand how serious that issue is.
What do you think that would look like?
I think people don't like to hear this, but I think right now we have a way to direct more funding because of ARPA. The state budget is pretty flush. And I also think, though, that we have to put a realization that, certain children have higher needs if we're going to get the same outcomes. Wraparound services, special needs children, those children require more than regular per pupil funding. So instead of getting in the per pupil, it has to be per pupil plus, what other circumstances. I believe I'm right on this. I think still 51% of Detroit public school parents don't have a vehicle. So it's great to have an after-school program, but if you can't get there, what's the point?
Then it's
right?
useless. It's interesting you talk about some of the wraparound services, and this is where we've seen so much of philanthropy step in.
Right.
And shoring up government services, shoring up the things that, that we sometimes have taken for granted. How would you see the role of foundations changing in Southeast Michigan, and then maybe the role of the Community Foundation?
Our main role is, and I see it as a collaborator. If you think of like the New Economy Initiative, yes, Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan has skin in the game, dollars, but also Kresge and Wilson and Kellogg and the Ford Foundation joining together, and then we're the convener, and then we also, help do the work, actually. So I see there's this new feeling of collaboration. If you look at what we were announcing this morning with Wayne County, ARPA funds coming in, but then $22 million coming in from philanthropy. Public and philanthropic coming together, joined by business, and I think we'd have the triple play. But
and I know that you're just again new in the position,
Right.
but definitely not new to again speaking to all these same people in the room, just in a different capacity. What are some of your personal goals or goals that you would like to see and bring forth through the Community Foundation over the next couple of years as you look forward?
I think there's a few things. There's no particular order, but I think we need more brand awareness. I think people don't know the breadth of what we do, all the way from managing the DMC Foundation and the grand bargain monies to opioids to open spaces, mental health issues. Number two, I really think we have to find a way to become relevant to what I'm calling, the first gen philanthropists. These people that heretofore, maybe they came into money, maybe they had, maybe they have a unicorn, in Ann Arbor or something, right?
Absolutely.
And how do we help them? How are we relevant to them is, I think, really important. Not turning our back on the past and our core funders, but how do we stay relevant and how can we change, Southeast Michigan and Michigan, for the better? And so those are some of my goals. I'd say the third goal is that, if you look at COVID, we needed to have money on hand to act instantaneously. And so I'm always looking for ways to increase our, what I would call unencumbered endowment that's not spoken for, that we can have optionality right when there's a crisis. So those are probably the three goals: more awareness, how do we appeal to that next philanthropist, and growing non-encumbered endowment.
It's really interesting when you talk about the next generation of philanthropists and how that they can make an impact and maybe that they're not even quite sure
Right.
yet, and tapping into that.
But I think, unfortunately, when some of the taxes changed in the state of Michigan, and I like Rick Snyder, but one of the things he did do is cut out the small deduction for charitable giving. And we really would like to see that come back for the following reason. It's only up to $500, so we're not talking about a big bite in the overall budget in the state, but that would instill family philanthropy. You might think, and it would keep it localized. If you know your $200 is going to be matched by a $200 tax credit, and it's staying in your community, that couple that jointly is making between them maybe $80,000 a year or $90,000 can actually write that check and see the value and maybe teach their high schoolers, their junior high folks, what this is about. Then I think we have a brighter future. So that's one thing I'd like to see come back, one thing we're fighting for, if you will.
Yeah, that'd be true impact. That's great. Rick DeVore, the new CEO of the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan. It's great to have you here and good to
to be
see you
here.
as always.
All
And
right.
we will talk again. I can't wait to see what's next.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.